This is a thought-provoking book that can drive people crazy. And different people see different things in it. But Kai doesn't believe it, because he can't see a single word. He looks at Avery beside him. He asks her to repeat the content that Miles just read. The girl stares at him intently. Why? This makes Kai feel that the book he's holding is a book without any words. Everything is just made up by Miles. I am not crazy. He saw everyone looking at him with strange eyes. Kai's inner self is gradually breaking down. He let out a roar. He asked insistently how could a normal B&B not have communication devices. He thought that these people just wanted to keep him here, commanding him like they did with Theodore, treating him like a slave. He loudly demanded to know the name of this deserted island and the whereabouts of his phone. The man calmly looked at Kai and asked, "Do you know how many uninhabited islands our country has? Do you think all the islands have names?" Kai was stunned for a few seconds. He angrily asked the man what he was talking about. Seeing his reaction, the master turned his gaze aside. "Mr. Theodore, he is not in a good state." Theodore appeared at the sound. He was holding a shotgun in his hand. The master walked up to Theodore. He put something wrapped in paper into the pocket on Theodore's chest. He had him isolate Kai. Theodore walked indifferently toward Kai. He aimed the gun at him. "I warned you before. You absolutely must not provoke them, and strive to be a useful person." Kai didn't answer. He just stared at him fiercely. Kai was locked up in the small house again. This time, the door was still unlocked, just fixed with iron nails. Kai inside the house was grinding his teeth in anger. He tried hard to calm himself down and think about the next course of action. He knew he couldn't put all his hopes on Ruby. He thought of that couple. He wanted to gather some information from them. Although he didn't find him at the B&B. But he saw them boarding the island with his own eyes. He believed that the two of them must be somewhere on the island. He found an iron rod in the wooden hut. It was to be used as a tool for breaking down the door. At this moment, a wheel at the bottom of the box caught his attention. He picked it up to take a closer look and found a card on the back. This is identical to what was found in the mailbox. The card has the number 9 written on it. He hadn't had a chance to think yet when he heard a familiar voice coming from outside the house. He came to the window and took a look. That little boy appeared again on the swing. Kai was sure. This time it definitely wasn't a dream. He yelled loudly, asking the boy to open the door for him. The boy did not respond to him. He played on the swing by himself. But when Kai mentioned the cell phone, he left directly. Kai doesn't want to miss the chance to get his phone back again. He picked up the iron bar and smashed the glass. He jumped down through the iron chains of the swing. He successfully landed on the ground. He ran towards the direction where the boy disappeared, not knowing how long he had been running. He saw the boy's figure from afar. He walked up to him and softly asked the boy to return his phone. The boy, with his back to him, replied, "I can't give it back to you, because I have never taken it." This statement left Kai stunned in place. But he had seen the phone in the boy's hand with his own eyes. Suddenly, he realized that something was approaching from behind. He turned around and was surprised to see a cute giant pig. He saw that the pig came over directly. Kai closed his eyes in fear. These pigs have magic. They come and go without a trace. They disappear in the blink of an eye. Kai encountered this scene. Close your eyes. When you open them, the pig disappeared as if by magic. He dragged his weary body back to the wooden house. He casually threw the iron pipe onto the ground. The end of the iron pipe revealed half of a card. He took a look. It was the familiar pattern again. The back of the card had the number 3 written on it. Kai broke down and burst into laughter. He thought someone was playing tricks. He shouted into the air, "Come out, whoever you are!" After venting his emotions, he calmed down. He thought about the pinhole in Theodore's hand and the small package given to him by the host. He realized he might have been drugged. Kai took out 3 pieces of paper. He stared at the 3 numbers, looked again and again, but couldn't see any clues. He decided to stop thinking about it. He continued to search the log cabin for useful items, because his top priority was to find a way to leave here. He found a pair of binoculars. He took a distant look at the B&B and found it very clear. After picking up the iron pipe, he went out again to search for clues. He quietly approached the B&B. He used binoculars to see the man wiping his gun. Then his gaze shifted downward. He found Avery fiddling with something. Upon closer inspection, it turned out to be a beetle. The girl looked at the bug in her hand, a strange smile appearing on her face. She twisted her hands, and the bug turned into a towel, making Kai turn his head away in disgust. When she looked back at the girl again, he happened to meet Avery's gaze. He thought he had been discovered, but he saw Avery quickly turn away. Kai breathed a sigh of relief. At this moment, he saw Miles walking out, carrying sausages, vegetables, and other foods. Kai's face lit up with a smile. Those foods must not be for pigs to eat. He quietly followed Miles, and saw a small seaside cottage in the distance. Seeing Miles walking in, Kai leaned against a rock, ready to wait for him to come out. It's unclear how much time passed. He heard the sound of a door closing. Standing up, he saw that Miles had already left. Kai immediately walked towards the cottage. After opening the door, he realized that the lights were not on in the cottage. It was pitch black inside. He called out twice into the room, but received no response. Using the moonlight from outside, he walked in step by step. He shouted as he walked. Suddenly, he heard the ringing of a telephone. He turned around and saw an old-fashioned landline phone. The cordless landline phone keeps ringing incessantly. He picked up the receiver and placed it next to his ear. Immediately, cries for help came from the other end. A woman with a trembling voice said someone was trying to kill her. But when Kai asked her where she was, the phone mysteriously hung up. This made him feel creepy. Kai stared at the phone for a long time. Eventually, he dialed the emergency number. He heard a voice on the other end of the phone. He immediately expressed that he needed help. He recounted his experience of being in a shipwreck. He was trapped on an island. There was also a mysterious family living there. But no matter what he said, the person on the phone kept asking for the name of the island and its specific location. Kai asked them to locate the position through the phone number. The person then turned the question back on him. Do you know how many uninhabited islands are there in our country? Do you think all islands have names? The familiar words made Kai's pupils shrink. He stood still in the same spot. The phone slipped from his hand as well. In this trash can, it held Kai's hope for survival. But when he saw the bloody clothes in the bucket, Kai was scared and sat paralyzed on the ground. He knew the last hope was gone too. Even he himself. He might not even survive. He staggered out of the wooden house, as if he had lost his soul. He suddenly remembered. Mr. Theodore had said that the island's guests were in a certain part of their own bodies. Then he thought of the scene of himself eating voraciously. He couldn't hold back anymore. He didn't expect that. This family really dares to kill. The next morning, early in the morning, he found Mr. Theodore. He wanted to speak out about the family's murder, but seeing his appearance, Kai held back. He asked how he could become a useful person. The man bumped into Kai. You just need to prove your worth. Just as Mrs. has said, she is my ardent fan. Kai was stunned for a second. He stopped the man who was about to leave and asked him for the toolbox. Theodore did not refuse. Kai, who got the toolbox, arrived outside the B&B. He started repairing the damaged fence. He saw the male host carrying a rifle as he left the house. The host smiled and greeted him. He looked at the busy Kai. Who let you out? He did not give a direct answer. Instead, he bent down to apologize for what happened yesterday. He looked at Kai's trembling arms. The man showed a satisfied smile on his face. He praised his good attitude, but also reminded him not to forget an important matter. Kai understood. The man was referring to the lost kitchen knife. Kai promptly assured him that he would return the knife to the madam. Received a satisfactory response. The man then left with a gun on his back. Kai gritted his teeth in anger and swung the sledgehammer with force. He harbored the only hope in his heart, because Ruby had said that she would definitely come back. Soon, hope turned into despair. He suddenly heard the voice of the male host swearing. Looking up, the man was indeed scolding Ruby. At this moment, the girl looked every bit like a nightclub queen. She was also carrying big and small bags in her hands. The man warned his daughter not to be seduced by money. He said he would settle the score with her later that night. He then left. Ruby approached Kai and gave him a flirtatious look. Thanks to your help, I could go out and have some fun. Kai stood motionless in place. He finally understood. When the family learned that Ruby had left, the eerie laughter took on a new meaning. I was deceived by the innocent appearance of the girl. He angrily called out to Ruby. He walked up to her and loudly questioned her about the reason for leaving the island. Was it just to go to a nightclub? The girl leisurely took off her sunglasses. In addition to the nightclub, there is also shopping. These words are like a sharp knife, fiercely stabbing Kai in the chest. Ruby took out a gift from her bag and handed it to Kai. Consider it as a reward for helping me, she said before turning around and walking towards the B&B. She had only taken a few steps when she stopped and reminded you of something. Don't yell at me in the future, or you'll have to deal with me. Kai didn't expect it either. It turns out that Ruby, who appeared the most normal, is actually hiding the deepest secrets. He has been busy all day. Just returned to the cabin. He saw Avery's message asking him to fix the cabinet as soon as he arrived. He threw the toolbox and gift on the ground. He tore off the note, crumpled it fiercely into a ball, and vowed to make this family pay. He picked up the gift from the ground, wanting to see what the crazy woman had bought. The girl wanted to kill her whole family, but she didn't want to do it herself. So she gave Kai a bottle of poison. Looking at the thing in her hand, Kai was at a loss whether to laugh or cry. He angrily threw the bottle on the ground. He thought the girl wanted him to commit suicide. After he scolded Ruby for a while, he calmed down. He looked at the liquid leaking out of the bottle. What if Ruby doesn't want me to sacrifice myself? Could it be that the more he thinks about it, the more he feels something is wrong? That woman actually wanted to use him to get rid of her family. Kai was searching everywhere in the room. He finally found a tool. He arrived at the entrance of the B&B. After knocking softly on the door, the hostess opened the door. Kai handed over the stolen kitchen knife with both hands. He bowed 90 degrees to apologize, promising that he would not make the same mistake again in the future. Seeing his sincere attitude, the woman forgave him. Seeing the woman about to leave, Kai quickly called out to stop her. The woman turned back in confusion. Are you preparing dinner? I'd like to help you make it together. After getting the woman's agreement, he successfully entered the kitchen. He intentionally or unintentionally struck up a conversation with the woman to distract her attention. Make sure the woman is not looking at you. He took out the prepared tools. He wants to drip poison into the dish. He watched as the liquid slowly flowed out. His expression gradually twisted. But when he thinks of the miserable death of this family, he couldn't bring himself to do it. The woman spoke, asking him to stay for dinner. Kai made an excuse, saying his stomach wasn't feeling well, and declined the invitation, because he was unsure if the woman had added poison to the food. He returned to the small cabin in a daze. He discarded the poison. He thought to himself, he was almost manipulated by this demon Ruby. He suddenly remembered the woman's dinner invitation. He returned to the B&B with a telescope in hand. He made sure from a distance that everyone was dining, then quickly approached the B&B. He entered a room through the window. He determined that it was the master's room through the crucifix and shotgun on the wall. Kai had just thought to look for a phone. Unexpectedly, he found a pleasant surprise. There was a laptop on the table. He carefully opened the computer. I didn't expect the computer not only had no password. It even had internet connection. This discovery made him ecstatic, just as he was about to go online to search for useful information. The sound of slippers dragging came from outside the door. Soon after, the male host opened the door and walked in. At this moment, Kai was hiding under the bed, trembling with fear. The man looked to the left. He looked to the right. He noticed the open window. A slight smile crept onto his lips. Kai under the bed had no idea about the man's expression. He only prayed not to be discovered. The man hurried to the window. He murmured to himself, "Did I open the window? It seems so. It must have been for ventilation." Kai's mood was made unpredictable. After the man closed the window, he comfortably lay on the massage chair. Soon he fell asleep. Kai, who heard the snoring sound, quietly climbed in front of the computer. He carefully opened the computer. When he opened the browser again, the computer unexpectedly lost its internet connection. Refreshing the address bar also didn't work. He suddenly noticed that the bookmark next to it was highlighted. After he clicked on it, it turned out to be a bookmark named My Happy Home. But he hadn't had a chance to check the specific content yet. The man opened his eyes. The man is a monster. He eats thousands of kilograms of food each meal. He also frequently abuses his own daughter, leaving her covered in bruises. Oh no! Just woken up man, stretching his body after. He takes off the belt from his pants. He is preparing to discipline his disobedient daughter. Kai, who sees everything, notices the belt in the man's hand. Cold sweat breaks out on his face. He quickly shrinks back his body, not daring to take a breath. He only relaxes after confirming the man has left. He opens the computer again. He quickly found the favorites folder. Clicked on the content inside. A hand-drawn picture appeared on the screen. The picture depicted a family on the island. Although they seemed harmonious, it gave off an eerie feeling. Suddenly, he noticed a child in the corner of the picture with graffiti on their face. After careful observation, he confirmed it was the boy who was swinging on the swings. Kai was puzzled for a moment. Why was there graffiti on the boy's face? But when he moved the mouse over the graffiti, he found that a link was actually embedded on the child's face. He tapped on the touchpad, clicked on the link. The computer suddenly went black. Then a paragraph of red text appeared. It was a story about 6 pigs. The eldest is very clever, able to kill with a finger. The second concentrates on studying and can make beautiful bouquets. The third likes to oppress people, but can be someone's protector. The fourth is deep and dark like a tunnel. The fifth is very foolish, always waiting for a crush. The sixth actually doesn't exist. Can you think of the meaning of these 6 sentences? Kai just finished reading them. A countdown appeared on the screen. He watched as the time kept decreasing. He realized the importance of this thing and immediately started looking for pen and paper. He wrote quickly and eagerly. In the last second before time ran out, he recorded the contents above. He looks at the black screen of the computer. He picked up the computer and shook it. At this moment, a familiar card fell from the bottom of the computer onto the table. Kai flipped over the card. On it was written the number 2. Feeling a small sense of accomplishment, he returned to the cabin. He began to make a storage cabinet for Avery. In a moment of carelessness, the hammer hit his finger. He yelled in pain. He took out a piece of copied paper, wanting to figure it out. Just as he was completely puzzled, he saw the nail on the ground. He understood. Kai placed all the darts in the middle of the dartboard. From afar, isn't this just a bouquet? With the guidance of the first sentence, he quickly discovered the meaning of the other sentences. The computer that kills with a finger is here. Dark and deep is the iron pipe. Waiting for the one in their heart is the mailbox. Like suppression, it can also become a protective garment. Isn't that the swing's chain? Sure enough, he found a card on the chain. He picked it up and took a look. It's the number 6. At this moment, the little boy appeared behind him. Congratulations. It seems you are finally ready. Kai didn't understand the meaning of this sentence. The boy didn't explain. He pointed to the pocket on Kai's left and told him to put his hand in. When he felt what was inside the pocket, Kai was shocked. He looked incredulous. It was actually a cell phone. The boy told him that the phone had been in Kai's pocket all along. He was just pretending not to know. He ignored the boy and instead took out the piece of paper with the story written on it. A murderer with a $5 million bounty on his head. He was humiliated by a family in turns because of amnesia. But now, he is about to regain his memory. What will he do to retaliate against this family? Kai, who got the phone. He looked at the password on the screen. Thought of the story about the 6 pigs. He followed the order of the story, corresponding the numbers with the card. He successfully unlocked the phone. The phone still has no internet. There are only 3 apps. His gaze. Naturally, he was attracted to the photo album. Because he wants to retrieve memories. Currently, photos are the only way. Kai opened the album. The corners of the little boy's mouth slightly curved upwards. There are only 3 groups in the album. It seems deliberately left behind. He took a selfie in his military uniform from one picture. He found out that his name is Kai Song. Kai, who found the clue, had a silly smile on his face. He happily told the boy his name. Immediately after, he opened another group. Inside were a variety of delicious foods. Kai thought of himself as a foodie. In his excitement, a hint of disappointment also appeared on his face, because he couldn't recall anything. He opened the last group. He discovered that he actually had a beautiful girlfriend. They played together. They ate delicious food together. They looked very much in love. Suddenly, Kai's girlfriend seemed to be chased by something. She was pushed into a corner. She looked shocked. More than that, she looked scared. A large hand choked the girl, causing her to suffocate and die in the struggle. Kai swam downwards in fear. A boy traveling. The driver of the car. They all fell victim to poisonous hands one after another. Kai is gradually becoming crazy. His eyes are bloodshot. He can't believe this is his phone. The next scene left him completely hopeless. On the screen, a fat man is tied to a chair. He seems to have seen something. He starts struggling frantically. Immediately after, a saw appears on the screen. And the person holding the saw is himself. Seeing this, Kai stood frozen in place. The phone slipped from his hand. He couldn't believe that he was a serial killer. The little boy looked at the dejected Kai. Are you being interesting? Kai suddenly stood up, grabbing the boy's clothes. What kind of joke is this? These are all illusions. It's because the effect of my medicine hasn't worn off yet. Am I right? The little boy looked at him expressionlessly. How long are you going to let that family play you for? Wake up, Kai Song. Go and tell them who the strongest one on this island is. Kai was woken up by these words. Memories flooded into his mind in fragments. He is a fugitive murderer. Even before he fled. He also killed a restaurant owner who recognized him. Kai took a black boat and tried to sneak out of the country. Unexpectedly, he encountered huge waves and ended up stranded on this island. When he finally remembered everything, the little boy had also disappeared. At this moment, the sky was already getting light. Kai arrived at the seashore, watching the beautiful sunrise, with a twisted smile on his face. He began to mutter to himself as a serial killer, arriving at an isolated island. I want to kill all the people on the island. That way, no one will be able to find me. Suddenly, the master of the house appeared behind him with a gun. It seems like you have something happy going on. Kai's expression changed immediately upon hearing the sound. He turned to look at the rifle in the man's hand. He is a crazy serial killer. His bounty is as high as 5 million. Due to amnesia, he has been subjected to continuous humiliation by this family. He is living a life worse than a dog. But now, he has regained his memory. He also said that those who watch the video but don't like or subscribe will be killed together. Just as Kai was thinking about it, the male host appeared behind him with a shotgun. Kai remained calm and started chatting with the man about everyday topics. His gaze, however, remained fixed on the shotgun. After chatting for a few sentences, the man began hunting seagulls. Kai stood behind him the whole time, intentionally or unintentionally intercepting messages. He learned that this place is isolated from the mainland. No matter how loud the gunfire is, it won't reach the other side of the mainland. A strange smile appeared on his face, and he blurted out, "I like it." Coincidentally, the man overheard it. Kai smiled and repeated the man's words. "You once said our country has many uninhabited islands. Who would care about one island? I really like this point." The man gave him a meaningful look and raised his gun to continue hunting. He fired the last remaining bullet. He skillfully reloaded. He loaded a bullet. "I understand you. Everyone has times when they want to hide and have it all end." After that, he handed the gun to Kai and told him to give it a try. "Just relax and take it easy." Kai was momentarily caught off guard. You should know that he almost killed a man once. After hesitating for a moment, he took the shotgun. He took the opportunity while the man turned around. He immediately checked if there were any bullets. He found 2 bullets. He breathed a sigh of relief. The man ordered Kai to shoot. A shot rang out. He didn't hit the seagull. The man smiled. What a pity. Only 1 shot left. He then turned around, wanting to signal him to fire the next shot. Completely unaware, Kai's expression had become contorted. He restrained himself for a moment. "Landlord, have you prayed for me?" The man turned around. "Of course. I was praying for you last night, hoping you could regain your memory." Kai smiled faintly. "Is that so? Then it really worked." Kai said his own name. The landlord looked slightly surprised. "Then your memory, all of it?" Kai ruthlessly interrupted before the conversation could continue. "Didn't you go to teach Miss Ruby a lesson last night? How did you help me pray then?" He pulled the trigger directly. The man was thrown away by a powerful impact. He fell into the sea. Kai watched him sink into the sea with his own eyes. But did the landlord uncle really die? Kai ejected the shell from the gun. He then realized that he didn't have any bullets. But this is exactly what he wanted. He enjoyed the process, not the result. He casually threw the gun into the sea and began selecting the next lucky one. Now there is only one left. The seemingly harmless female host. The sinister Avery and the malicious Ruby. The formidable Miles. Theodore, who is on drugs. In the end, Kai decided to deal with Theodore first. After all, he has a gun in his hand. Kai's face lit up with excitement as the plan was finalized. He is about to go and look for Theodore. His stomach growled. He decided to find something to eat first. After all, only by eating his fill could he have the energy to work. He is a psychopathic murderer, with a reward of up to 5 million. After he killed the male owner of the B&B, he didn't think about escaping. Instead, he calmly went to have a meal. He also said that those who see this video should subscribe to stay alive. Kai followed the mistress into the house. The two of them chatted and laughed as they arrived in the kitchen. When the woman turned around, Kai showed his fangs. He was considering whether to kill the woman or not. In the end, he gave up because there were plenty of opportunities. After preparing the meal, Kai purposefully helped serve the dishes. He noticed that Ruby was covered in bruises. He hurried over to inquire about the situation. Ruby gave a perfunctory response. Kai pretended to care about the girl. He took the opportunity to knock over the juice. He let the juice spill into Ruby's plate. He quickly apologized. He nervously suggested exchanging the food. Without waiting for Ruby's response, he had already handed over his own portion. He did this because he suspected that the portion had been poisoned. I have to say that Kai, who has regained his memory, even had his IQ increased. But can the food he exchanged be considered safe? After he selected the dishes, several people sat around the table. Kai puts a piece of meat to his mouth. He secretly observes the others. He found that they were all eating well. Suddenly, Avery slammed the fork heavily on the table. She asked where Dad had gone. Kai calmly ate his meal. Ruby guessed that the shooting was still going on, but the gunfire had long since stopped. There was silence for a while. The hostess urged them to start eating quickly. Avery glanced over. Kai, who was eating happily, couldn't possibly be dead. Even after hearing that, Kai remained calm, eating a kind of meat. Avery, seeing the situation, also quickly said that they were just joking. The wife indeed hadn't seen her husband for a long time. The hostess asked Miles to go and have a look. But when he approached Kai, he mysteriously stopped in his tracks. Kai also noticed that something was unusual. He remained calm. What's wrong? Miles didn't say anything. He just gave him a sinister look. He turned around and left. After finishing dinner, Kai thoughtfully helped the woman wash the dishes. He had the appearance of a sunny boy. After cleaning up, he just walked out of the B&B. Avery appeared behind him, called out to him. She asked about the storage cabinet. Kai said he's ready, invited Avery to go see the cabin. Avery seems to have noticed something. She turned and walked away. I still need to go catch the pigs. Upon hearing that they were going to the slaughterhouse, Kai said he also wanted to go take a look. The girl's face revealed a strange smile. Are you sure you want to see it? It's a bit creepy. The man did not know the meaning of the sentence. He followed Avery to the warehouse. She instructed him to bring the slaughter gun. He will shoot the pig to be killed directly later. Kai smiled. I'm familiar with this thing. The serial killer in the movie uses this to commit murder. Avery ignored him and directly opened the gate. She was just about to introduce her friends to him. Kai seemed to have seen something. His expression changed from calm to surprised, and then to fear. He then shouted loudly and ran off without looking back, leaving Avery girl confused, yelling for him to leave the slaughter gun behind. But Kai acted as if he couldn't hear anything. He ran straight back to the cabin. He rammed open the door. He picked up the slaughter gun aimed at the doorway. After a standoff of more than 10 seconds, he discovered there was nothing outside the door. He put down the slaughter gun. He didn't notice Miles in the corner at all. What did Kai actually see? Miles's arrival. And why is that? A serial killer. But he did a good deed. That is, he helped Miles find his father. He led them both to their doom. He also said, "Those who watch this video must like, comment, and subscribe to stay alive." Just now, in a panic, Kai fled to the wooden cabin. After confirming that there was no danger, he finally breathed a sigh of relief. He then discovered Miles in the corner. Kai was greatly surprised and asked how he ended up here. Miles walked up to Kai with a sickle. "No matter how much I searched, I couldn't find it. It's on you. There's a scent." Kai couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat at the seemingly nonsensical words. He knew he was being suspected, because Miles did not find his father. But he smelled gunpowder on Kai. He suspected his father's disappearance was related to Kai. Kai finally understood the meaning behind Miles' expression when he left. Looking at his bloodshot eyes, Kai couldn't help but tighten his slaughter gun. He slowly got up. He showed a dead fish face. Do you think it was me who killed the landlord uncle? After receiving a positive response from Miles, he raised the slaughter gun in his hand. Step back. Otherwise, if your head blooms, I won't take responsibility. Miles remained calm, reminded him that the valve was not open. When Kai reacted, he wanted to open the valve. Miles's scythe had already fallen. He could only hastily defend himself with the gas tank. The enormous force overwhelmed him. Kai took the opportunity to open the valve. Miles noticed this action. He jumped away directly. He distanced himself from Kai. Kai also did not rush forward. Let Miles bring out the evidence to kill the landlord. Because of the smell of gunpowder on him, Miles insisted that it was him. Kai gazed at Miles with a playful expression. He taunted him for being so afraid of his father. Now he was acting caring. Then he mentioned the landlord abusing Ruby Miles, but thought it was Ruby's fault. Abuse is abuse, regardless of the reason. He saw the landlord uncle with his own eyes, holding a belt, shouting that he was going to teach Ruby a lesson. Upon hearing this, Miles's expression changed. He asked if he killed his father because of this. Kai, of course, would not admit it. He explained that he did not kill the landlord uncle. The smell of gunpowder on him was from when he met him in the morning. Miles didn't believe his explanation. He thought Kai was lying. Kai remained silent for a moment. He mocked him for being thick-faced and a hypocrite. I had already seen the blood-stained clothes worn by that couple. But you lied to me that there were no guests, and even called me a lunatic. Who is really lying here? Miles immediately raised his sickle and asked how he found out. Kai recounted the tracking process. He even thanked Miles for helping him see the truth about Miles' family being murderers. After speaking, he once again cunningly argued that he did not kill the landlord. Because the hope of leaving was shattered, he wanted to be like Theodore, proving his own worth. He wants to continue living, instead of becoming a meal on a plate. Miles stared hard at Kai. You are very bold today, daring to blatantly call us murderers. Kai directly fought back. You didn't hide it either. Look at Kai's innocent expression. Miles retracted the sickle. He chose to believe Kai. Kai said thank you. He suggested that they look for the landlord uncle together. Miles did not refuse. The two of them walked out of the wooden house together. Kai asked him what his criteria for killing people were. Miles's answer surprised him greatly. He didn't know the criteria either. Kai then realized that Miles had gone to deliver barbecue tools because he didn't know that the couple was already dead. Keep walking. Miles suddenly turned around. I am curious. You clearly thought that we would kill someone and eat human flesh. Why did you still eat so heartily that morning? Kai's expression twisted. Because I really missed that kind of food. After saying that, he rushed up and killed Miles with a slaughter gun. He let him accompany the landlord uncle in the sea. After everything was done, Kai is preparing to deal with Theodore.